Good evening. My name is Ben Jones, and I'm the principal at Shiloh Point Elementary School. Our core leadership team, teachers, and one amazing student are excited to share a part of our story with you. The story is a journey that Shiloh Point has been on for several years. This journey began due to the inspiration of the Forsyth County vision of quality learning and superior performance for all, the personalized learning mindset that became pervasive throughout our system, and the calling of the learner profile.
Good evening. My name is Lori Rogowski, and I'm one of the assistant principals at Shiloh Point, and this is Christy Logan, one of our fabulous school counselors. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our journey, and we began our journey at Shiloh Point around the 2015-16 school year with a focus on reading and researching the tenets of personalized learning. We sent groups of teachers to Charlotte-Mecklenburg to observe personalized learning practices in action, and then we discussed how these practices could best impact the teaching and learning at Shiloh Point. Believing that student-owned learning is the path to meeting the expectations for our Forsyth County learner profile, in the 2017 school year, we developed as a core leadership team a 5-year plan to achieve our goal of establishing student ownership in every classroom. The key elements of our plan include the 3 main pillars: mastery-based learning, social-emotional learning, and authentic learning, all of which have been driving our school-wide professional learning plan, how we allocate our school resources, and our communication with our community.
And in the 2019-20 school year, our core leadership team reflected on our 5-year plan and where we were going. We wanted to ensure that we were on course and that we still believed in the direction that we were heading. The image of the space shuttle that you see is a brief summary of the team's discussion. Firmly believing that our plans align to the core beliefs of Shiloh Point and Forsyth County's learner profile, we realize that authentic learning is our moonshot, which merges the pillars of mastery-based learning, social-emotional learning, and student ownership.
Our journey has currently led us to this vision. Our vision is to create resilient and joyful learners who are self-motivated and empowered to succeed through and in whatever they encounter in life. We will build capacity in our students to advocate for, monitor, and challenge their own learning and emotional well-being in order to reach their highest potential. Our vision is focused on possibility and potential and not end goals and expectations. Our vision is always in process with a future-forward and learner-focused mindset.
Hello, my name is Sean Dillard, assistant principal. And historically, we've always had 3 leadership teams. Those teams would meet once a month with their own agenda and set of things they would be doing. And then the 3 leadership teams would meet together at the end of the month, and they would discuss the things that each group talked about. And then from there, the grade level members would go to their teams and disseminate their information that they talked about and worked on.
Good evening. My name is Amanda Wickman, and I am an assistant administrator at Shiloh Point. Knowing our journey and in keeping with our new vision, our core team decided that there needed to be a shift in our leadership teams and how we worked. We want our leaders to dive deep in our collective work, and this would allow our leaders to stand united in one voice, and when they went back to their grade level teams, be able to talk about our work. So we concluded that our 3 leadership teams could join together. So thus, one collaborative was born. So this quote embodies our belief as a core leadership or a collaborative team. Co-creation is the work and interdependence is the promise.
My name is Cammie White, and I'm the ITS and one of the instructional coaches. One of our first next steps towards student-owned learning is implementing the instructional framework with fidelity and a renewed sense of purpose. At the beginning of the school year, our teachers took the pre-assessment from teaching and learning, and from that data chose to focus on developing success criteria for and with students as a way to more deeply involve students in the learning process. Success criteria is our primary focus this year in PLCs for all grade levels and is a key component of mastery-based learning principles.
Hi, I'm Penny Latimer, one of the instructional coaches at Shiloh Point. And mastery-based is a term we use at Shiloh that defines our work around student ownership. These principles were created and refined by instructional leaders and teachers who are practitioners in this work. PLC cohorts were formed to grow and challenge our professional knowledge and practice in student ownership.
Good evening. I'm Donna Price, Quality Work Facilitator and a member of the instructional coaching team with these fine ladies. As was mentioned earlier, our moonshot is authentic learning. The work of our teachers is to develop a classroom culture and learning environment for every child that intertwines our previous and current work, including the instructional framework, social emotional learning, and our mastery-based principles, and then propels it even further. Through work with our teacher leaders, we've determined our definition of authentic learning includes experiences that are relevant to the learner while developing lifelong cross-disciplinary skills. Our students would continue to build academic knowledge and skills, but do so in a manner that allows for deep, meaningful, and transferable learning to occur.
Hi, I'm Carrie Ward. I'm one of the teachers at Shiloh Point. So I was blessed with the ability to take all of this and practice it in the classroom. And I've been doing that really since the inception of the concept of student-owned learning. What we've found along the way, I was part of the master-based cohort that originally began, and we wanted to change student motivation from an external motivation to, is this right? To that internal, I know this is right because, and I know what my next steps are. And that's what the whole goal was for us, getting the students to understand and develop their own understanding about what they were doing and what they were learning. What we found, what I personally found in all of my experience was the speed of learning increased. I changed my mantra from, I'm not sure if I can do this, to, I'm going to go slow to go fast. The more time I took, the more time we in the cohort took to help students understand what we were wanting from them, the quicker they began to grasp it and the less time we spent teaching things that didn't need to be taught. We knew where they were, they knew where they were, and we just kept moving things forward. Our goal now, and actually it started before now because we're so excited, those of us who've done it, the results we've seen, is to model and help those teachers who weren't part of the cohort to start to step up to the same kinds of strategies that we saw. And that's where
I come in. My name is Beth Lowry. I'm another teacher at Shiloh, and I started teaching at Shiloh as they had already started this process. And as I was first hearing about personalized learning, a lot of it was new to me, and I was nervous and felt overwhelmed. But we're very lucky at Shiloh to have coaches and peers that are willing to help me learn, come into my classroom and model for me, welcome me into their classroom, and show me how I could make it work for me and my students. I started small, just one subject, writing. And it was amazing to me as I worked with my students to deconstruct standards, create success criteria, the way that they took ownership. They could self-reflect, tell me what they needed to work on next and where they were going, and tell me what I needed to do to help them get there. I've since continued to grow by expanding to other subjects. As we've gone, we've been able to grow this work throughout the school building, through our PLC time, our One Collaborative, and our individual grade level teams. It's exciting for us to have the opportunity to see kids embrace the owners and take ownership of their learning and see the power that they gain from that.
Good evening. My name's Kevin Harris. I'm one of the counselors at Shiloh Point Elementary, and it's my honor to introduce to you one of our third graders, my daughter, Savannah Harris.
Good evening. For our future at Shiloh Point, I would like education to be more in the kids' hands. Also, I think learning should always have an element of fun. Teachers should also be prepared to reach kids where they are. For example, with multiplication. If a teacher is teaching the 3s and 4s tables, but some kids are ready to move on with 5s and 6s, I think having math meetings like we do with ARC might help students see if they are ready to move past the target or if they need extra attention. I think in all subjects, teachers should show students what they should be able to do at the end of the unit with success criteria. I think that is important because students, not just teachers, should be able to see when they are ready to move past the target.
Our theme this year at Shiloh Point is Shine. We believe that each and every person at Shiloh Point is a shining star burning in their own special way. These independent stars connect to make something meaningful, a constellation. No one star is more important than another, and with this constellation mindset, our independence turns into interdependence. With this constellation mindset, we set ourselves in motion toward possibility, not toward destination, allowing for many branching paths. No matter the path, one thing is clear: we will be constantly and continually moving towards the possibility of our vision. Thank you.
I don't know where to start. Dr. Bernhoff says, begin with the end in mind, which is a little bit not going with your last statement there, but I love the students know what they're supposed to be mastering and that they can verbalize it. They might not be there. That gives them that confidence instead of getting, have you ever been in a class when you get a little bit too far behind and then it's overwhelming and then it's hard to get started? And for the kids to be able to maybe raise their hands sooner and say, I'm not getting how to do this, that's amazing, because I know when we went to school, we didn't know what standard, I didn't know what a standard was back in the day. So for them to understand what standards are and to know that they might be having a challenge with one and be able to say that is incredible. So, and this is at elementary, so I'm so applauding him. Very good speaking there. Very good. That was great.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about individualized education and instruction. And a lot of times when you say that, you start thinking, well, a teacher is going to have as many kids in the classroom, have to do that many more times. And so that's the hard thing. And we don't want to pile more on the teachers having to do an individual plan for each student. Giving it back to students sounds like you got the ticket to getting to that individualized learning so they can learn at their pace and their way, because everybody's different. So great job.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's always a joy to go out to Shiloh Point and see your teachers and students work together. And to your point, Kristen and Tom, when you walk in a classroom at Shiloh Point, it's not unusual to see clusters of kids working together and the teacher giving that individual help where needed. Kids who are ready to move forward, as our students said tonight, are moving forward on their own pace. And they really do embrace their learning and own their learning. And I'm telling you, when you ask a student at Shiloh Point Elementary School what they're working on, they can tell you. They can tell you what the learning target is, what the expectation is, and what their goal is. It's very impressive. Thank you, guys.